it was a shock to all of us. Thanksgiving week, my mom was fine. Like, she came with me to the gym every morning, and you wouldn't think anything was wrong at all. Like, she was out with me at the gym, and we were happy, laughing. In the midst of everything happening with the company, I obviously have a personal life as well. And the past few months have been quite challenging. In November, we found out that my mom had stage 4 cancer. In October, I actually was in Boston with her. She flew up to see her friends in Western Massachusetts and drove into Boston because I was there for a work trip, and we spent the weekend together, and no signs of anything. I remember my mom saying at one point, she's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go in the water. We were at the pool, an indoor pool at a hotel, and she had like a little, what looked like kind of like a blood blister on her, and so she was a little like just embarrassed, and she's like, and it wasn't like, it didn't look like anything crazy, but I was like, you should probably go to the doctor for that. And she did go to the doctor as soon as she got back to Florida. I didn't think much of it at first, to be honest, and this was end of October. A week later, they did kind of just a skin sample, and they realized it was cancer. So this was probably early November. Again, this all happened so fast. A week later, she had the follow-up doctor's appointment just to look at the results. When they went in for the results on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, my dad was there. It was an 11 o'clock appointment, and he was still there, and it was like 1 o'clock, 2, and he had called me just saying it wasn't good, and they were figuring out more. It came back that she not only had cancer, but she had tumors in her brain and alongside like her body, and so she has 6 tumors in her brain, 2 being really large, and so it was a shock to all of us. Thanksgiving week, my mom was fine. Like, she came with me to the gym every morning, and you wouldn't think anything was wrong at all. Like, she was out with me at the gym, and we were happy, laughing. The only thing I did notice is the day after Thanksgiving, there were a couple things I had mentioned to her, and she's like, oh, Dad told me this. And I had to check with Dad because I was like, oh, that's weird that we're saying the same thing. And my dad was like, no, I didn't say anything. So she was confusing memories. Like, she was thinking I said things when Dad said things, or Dad said things when I said things. But that was the only thing. Thanksgiving week was tough because when my mom heard the news, she, my mom goes to church. She works out. She even said, she's like, I thought I did everything right. Like, I thought I did everything right, and I still have this. And it's tough to hear. It's definitely tough to hear. And when we looked into it further, her father and her mother both had cancers of sorts. But it runs in the family, and that was the hardest thing to see. And her brother had also had it, and he survived. So there's positivity in all of that we could get through this, but it is really, really tough to see. It's just tough to see my mom not be able to do anything on her own. And yeah, it's just been, it's been a challenge. It's like, and she talks about her age. So even when we were in the hospital the second time, it was resemblant of a young child right now. And she'll even say, we went to the hospital at first, she was like, I'm like a 2-year-old. And that's all she would tell me. And then she's like, when we were about to leave the last day, she said she was a 2-month-old. And I went to the nurse, and I was like, I just couldn't believe they were letting her out of the hospital in that condition. Because she couldn't walk. She couldn't even get in a wheelchair. We had to get her in the car, like with my father and I getting her into the car. But yeah, my dad, this is the toughest thing for him because he's just had health complications his whole life. And seeing my dad there being like, it's not supposed to be her. Like, she's not supposed to go first. It's really hard. And we just didn't expect this at all. Like, and we're staying positive. We're obviously trusting in the doctors for treatment, but it's hard when you hear that, like, it's so far progressed. It's stage 4, and it happened in a matter of weeks. So it's just really tough. But my dad has been super strong for my mom. Like, he is lifting her. He's like helping her. He's figuring out how to help her at night because she gets into everything. The thing is, though, my parents, they believe so much in what I do. And they never want me to be tied down with like the things that are going on in their life. And so they've wanted, they support what I do. And they're like, my mom's so excited, even at the hospital. She goes, my daughter, she sells robots. She was so excited. And she also tells them I sell shoes too. So like, that's the other thing. She's like, and she has this shoe collection. And so my mom's like just so proud of me and where I've, what I've done. And they don't expect me to be there all the time. It's just, it's a challenge trying to figure out how to balance everything. Like, how do you balance everything going on in your family and still create like a successful career? And I'm doing this because I really believe in what I'm doing, but I'm doing all this because I want to build a better life and like even more than my parents had, and I want to be able to give back to them too. And so right now it's just us, it's figuring out like what Medicare covers and like how we're gonna get through this together, because as much as they do have health insurance, like the bills do add up, the copays do add up, and I don't know, it's been a challenge, but I'm happy she has all the positivity in the world, and we're just taking it day by day at this point. I haven't had much time to actually like sort out things, and it's been a lot. So, and I know friends are like there for you, and they text you, and they like, reach out, and I appreciate my friends so much, and it's been so nice to have the support. But there's times where I'm just like, literally, I don't like to text anyhow. So the fact that my friends are texting all the time, it's great, but I'm like, I don't have like responding. So now I like, if I don't respond to you within a day, 2 days, I probably haven't checked off your message that I have to respond back to you yet. So just understand, like, people going through this, like, just need time and space a little bit. I've definitely gotten a lot of advice. I have some friends that have been through this with family members and have been really supportive. There's grants out there that I can look into for funding. And people are just, open to talk. So I've definitely had people that have been through this with their family before, and they're just open to talk and give me advice. It's been really nice to have that. There are a lot of people that want to help. Like, even my family came in town to see my mom, and immediately my aunt was looking at, like all these articles on like what the next treatment is and what it entails. It definitely still feels like a lot though, because you're told all these things and you just don't even know where to start. You're like, okay, we're here. This is what I need. Like, how do I get there? So I think it's just sitting down and honestly like looking at what I need to do next. You have to keep focused on yourself as well. I'm big on planners, but I bought my yearly planner, the paper one, for 2024, and I've already started putting on goals and initiatives that I want to accomplish this month. Some that are related to my mom, and others that are related to my personal life, and others that are related to work. It's big for me, and I've just, even when I was back home, like, I had to keep with my gym workouts and like just keep my mind there, at the gym sometimes, and just take that time for myself, because if you just think about this constantly, it just adds more pressure and weight to your daily life. I've told everyone, like, just hug everyone a little tighter. Like, you just don't know how long you're going to have with everyone. And I don't, we're being very positive about this. Like, we're optimistic that my mom will be able to celebrate her 100th birthday that she keeps talking about. Mind you, she just turned 66, so we got some years, but she's positive. I mean, her brother made it through cancer. Like, her family both, like I said, they didn't die of cancer, although they had cancer. So, and it was all different types of cancer too. That was the thing too. Like, this started as a skin cancer, but it quickly progressed to the brain, into tumors. So it quickly progressed, but her whole family had different types. So I wouldn't even say it's like you're bound to one if that's the case. The crazy thing is, this has brought my family closer together. Like, my dad and I have never talked so much, and my dad, it's honestly helping my dad, because he's always worried about his own health, and to have to worry about someone else that you love so dearly, it takes a lot of pressure off you. And honestly, my dad, although he still has his health issues and he has to balance his medication, my mom's now, which is a struggle sometimes, but he's stepped up so much, and his health issues, they're still there, but they're not as, you can't see them as much. So it's nice to have, we've come together a lot. I will just say I'm grateful to have family that's very supportive of my dreams and my goals, and you need to find people in your life like that, because you will have challenges and you will have hard times, but if you have those people that fully support what you do and understand the vision for your future, it's nice, and it kind of keeps everything balanced, but it just reminds you like how precious life is, and how just don't take any moments for granted. Hi everyone. I am recording this video only a few weeks after I recorded that last video series that you saw on my mom and her health, and unfortunately, sadly, she passed yesterday. We're still processing everything. I think at the end, I would say the last few days, she started to get really weak, and she wasn't eating, and it was just hard to get her to move anywhere. And even the last day, she said she wanted to go to a nursing home, so I think she was feeling like she was going. But obviously this is not what we hoped, what we envisioned. This all came so suddenly, and I want to say this all to just give you guys hope and tell you it's all gonna be okay. Just hug everyone a little tighter, like I said before. And everything that we do past this point in the GoFundMe, that we don't need for medical bills or expenses for my mom, we're going to donate to the Shriners Children's Hospital. It was something both my parents loved, and the cause is something they both care about, so that's where all the rest of the money will go. But it's hard. I think I'm still in shock. It doesn't feel real. It feels like my mom's gonna walk in the door any second and I'll be able to talk to her, but obviously that's not the reality. I don't want this video to be about sadness. I want it to be about hope for the future, and just tell everyone to live in that moment and really embrace and love the ones that you love, and just take every opportunity to say how much you care and appreciate people in your life.